Do you ever wonder why you can't stop thinking about food? Discover the surprising reasons why you experience constant cravings and how you can overcome overeating once and for all. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell in the top corner so that you're notified every time I publish a new video every Tuesday on emotional eating, binge eating, and how you can achieve food freedom. I'm Meredith McKenzie. I'm a binge eating therapist, intuitive eating coach, and the founder of the One Body to Love program. I've helped hundreds of women to overcome the binge restrict cycle and to learn to eat intuitively. Before we dive into the video, I want to start with a quick disclaimer. The content that I'm going to be providing today is for educational and entertainment purposes only and should not be seen as a substitution for a psychological evaluation or assessment or any form of treatment with a therapist. So you're constantly hungry. You eat your meal and then not too long afterwards, you're hungry again. Why is this happening? Well, before you ask yourself that question any longer, let me give you the 4 reasons, and one surprise one if you wait around till the end, that you might not have thought of, that are likely contributing to why you feel hungry all the time. The number 1 reason you probably feel hungry all the time is because you are hungry. So many of us, for various reasons, do not listen to the cues that our body gives us adequately. Our body is always giving us cues about our needs for sleep, our needs for emotional reasons, and even hunger and fullness. But we are very much subscribed to diet culture, whether we like it or not. And for that reason, we often just ignore what it is that our body needs. In my practice, women tell me time and time again, yeah, but I just don't feel those hunger cues, so I must not be hungry. And then suddenly they're starving, they're ravenous. And what's likely happening is that they've ignored or they haven't noticed, or their bodies are just accustomed to turning down the volume on those hunger cues and they're not recognizing what is happening. So the number 1 thing is probably that you're not eating enough. One of the things that I often see in my practice is my clients will say, well, I'm eating reasonably. I think I'm eating in a really healthy way. And when I talk to them about what it is that they're actually eating, they tend to be eating a lot of abundance of food, but the quality of that food is not very nutritionally dense. And so what I mean by that is eating a large salad or eating lots of vegetables and limited carbohydrates or limited protein, limited fat. And you're not actually getting enough nutrients in that meal to be able to satiate your body's needs. Your body has very specific needs. Again, I'm not a nutritionist or a dietitian, but these are things that you can look up anywhere. And as I am certified as an intuitive eating counselor, I'm able to talk about some of these things as well. When you're trying to think of a meal that is going to satiate your body's needs, you want to think of the components of that meal: carbohydrates, fats, and protein, and trying to incorporate as many of those as possible so that you're able to create something, a meal or a snack, that is going to satiate all the needs that your body has. We're not just looking to fill up your stomach and to cause those nerve sensors in your stomach to send a signal to your brain and say, okay, I'm done, I'm full. You want to be able to have that experience over a longer period of time, because what will end up happening is your body will sense that it's full if you're eating those kind of filling foods. But then over time, once that food is digested, your body's going to now say, okay, I'm hungry again, let's get more food. When your body is hungry or it senses that it needs more than what you've given it, it is going to set off a cascade of hormonal responses to entice you, encourage you, and motivate you to find food as quickly as possible. This is an innate experience that we are all designed to have within us, and our bodies reward us for it by releasing dopamine when we eat something that satiates its nutritional needs. I've created a full video on this if you just want to click up here, and you can have a watch of that one as well. Another reason that you might be feeling hungry all the time, even though you're physically full, is because you're restricting certain food groups or certain types of foods from your average diet. When you tell yourself that you can't have a specific food, or that you feel guilty because you should or you shouldn't eat something in particular, that something is good, something is bad, and that you need to, stay away from the bad things, you really set yourself up for this relationship of deprivation with that particular food. While you say, this is off limits and I shouldn't have it and I'm not going to have it and I'm going to stay completely away from it, you also create this relationship of, but I want it. There must be something so fabulous about this food, because I'm not allowing myself to eat it. And what you might find over time is that either you are craving so much more, and when you do go to eat food, that you eat more of than you had intended originally, even if it's not that particular food that you had originally put off limits. It's almost like when you say, no, you can't have this one particular thing, your brain just says, okay, something's not right here. I need to be able to have food. I'm scared of the accessibility of it. I'm worried that there's going to be this scarcity of foods that I like, and it kind of turns up the ante on all eating. So you might have found like that's not even something that I wanted to overeat. That's not even something that I felt really that drawn to, not even a food that I particularly liked that much. But in that moment, because of the deprivation that you're experiencing towards this particular food over here, you just went for it. Anytime we tell ourselves we can't have something, we want it that much more. So I want to encourage you to just try saying, I'm going to allow myself to have this food. It doesn't have to be for a particular occasion or as a reward for anything. I just want to say, go ahead, go out and have it and see how that plays out for you. Personally, and in my practice, I subscribe to intuitive eating, which really encourages us to eat all the foods and to allow ourselves to have permission to eat all of those foods. The interesting psychological thing that happens here is when we say to ourselves that we can eat anything we want, whenever we want, in the quantity that we want, we don't want it all the time. It's that relationship with deprivation that shifts because we are now allowing ourselves to have those things, and we do have them, but that food doesn't have the same psychological control over us anymore. Now, I would love to hear from you. What triggers your overeating the most, and what have you tried to do to stop it so far? Let me know in the comment section down below. The third reason you may be feeling hungry, even though you have eaten recently or you feel physically full, is for emotional reasons. Even if I had had a complete full dinner and I was physically satisfied, I had checked all the boxes and I enjoyed that meal and physically I needed nothing more, emotionally, if I was feeling lonely, if I was feeling bored, if I was feeling overwhelmed, any range of emotions, I was more likely to eat to fill that sense of void. We tend to cope with emotions with food. Right from birth, the very first thing we do, I've had 2 children, when that baby cries, you give it something to eat. You feed the baby and you meet that need for comfort with food. It's not bad to emotionally eat. There's nothing wrong with emotional eating. I still emotionally eat all the time, but it's when it becomes the sole way of coping with our emotions, or it becomes something where we're overeating and overcompensating for that emotional need, that it becomes problematic. So consider for yourself, what is going on for you emotionally, whether it's in the evenings, throughout the day, in the middle of the workday, that is happening for you that might be contributing to that sense of hunger. Unfortunately, when we engage in emotional eating, it tends to set off this cycle that leads to more emotional eating. When we emotionally eat, especially if we feel like we shouldn't be eating this way, we can feel so much guilt and so much shame and defeat and disappointment in ourselves, and those negative emotions and negative feelings about ourselves can really impact our self-esteem, our sense of self, and who we believe and see ourselves to be, that we end up then coping with those negative emotions with more eating because that's going to provide comfort. So even if you don't intend to do it in the first place, it can create this cyclical experience where you're continuously eating for emotional comfort to then deal with the negative emotions that come from emotional eating. And finally, the fourth reason that you might be feeling hungry, even though you have just eaten or you feel physically full, is something called taste hunger. We have physical hunger and we know that that's about our biological needs, but taste hunger is about a specific flavor profile that we're really seeking out and looking for. It takes me back to those times when I would say to my mom, "Mom, I'm hungry." And she would say, "Well, have an apple." And moms are a completely different video for us to be talking about, but I wasn't hungry for an apple. That's not what my taste hunger was saying. It's important to recognize that taste hunger is something that's very real. And in doing that, what you can do to kind of combat or deal with, cope with this taste hunger that you might have, is to really look at what it is you're creating for your meals. Is it something that is satisfying on a taste flavor profile level. If you're somebody who likes to, pre-plan their meals or prepare your meals for the week, if you eat the same lunch every single day, you're going to fatigue of that. Yes, it might be nutritionally filling and check all the boxes on that front, but maybe you're getting bored of it. You're habituating to it, and so you're craving something different. Or maybe if you live alone or you take home leftovers, it's just something that you get tired of after a certain amount of time. Making sure that you have the right foods in your pantry to be able to eat the foods that you love and to be able to really stimulate this part of yourself. Again, it's not uncommon if you experience ADHD or have a diagnosis of ADHD that this might be something that you deal with, but acknowledge that taste hunger is very real and is something that you can deal with by making sure that you have a variety of foods and really attending to what those needs are. Now, I have one more little idea for you about why you might be hungry all the time, even though you're physically full. And that is that there might be a true biological reason that your hunger has increased for that specific day or time. Very simply, perhaps you did a big workout, or you were physically active, or you were really emotionally drained the day or a couple of days before. That often leads to an offset and then later hunger increases. Maybe there's something physically going on in your life. Perhaps you're pregnant. Perhaps, like myself, I am breastfeeding. I am hungry all the time. The other and more serious reasons might be that there is a medical situation going on for you that you need to speak with your doctor about. There's just all of these different things that go on within our bodies that increase our hunger from time to time. And sometimes there are legitimate, biological reasons that those things are happening. And sometimes there's something you need to look into a little bit further. That's not to fearmonger or make you think that you need to go be checking in with your doctor all the time. But if it's something that you're experiencing and you've checked all the boxes on those other reasons that you might be feeling hungry, it might be worth checking in with your doctor about. If this video resonated with you and you are now kind of questioning yourself about why am I hungry all the time and could one of these be applicable to me, I want to invite you to take my eating styles quiz, and it's going to help identify the areas of your eating that could be problematic, that could be needing addressing, and it's going to give you so much information about how you relate to food. So check out the description box down below where I've included that link and you can take that quiz right away. Thank you so much for watching, and if you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so that you can get more of my content on ending the binge eating cycle, overcoming emotional eating, and how to become an intuitive eater. Also, be sure to hit that notification bell so that you never miss a video when I publish every Tuesday. And you might want to check out this video right here for more strategies and support in your food freedom journey. And I'll see you in the next video.